Welcome back, all you members of the King's Circle, to yet another episode of Cocktails with the King. Once again, I am Jonathan Nota, coming to you from the Speakeasy here at our office with Jonathan Porter of the Prohibition Tours. What do we got for him this week, John?
This week is a little insane. Well, temporarily at least. We're going to start off at the Chicago Athletic Association and take a short walk over to Remus's law office.
Oh, maybe we'll get to see your favorite mailbox again.
Oh, I plan on it. I mean, this is really cool. I'm glad that we were able to get in there today.
I guess all we had to do was come back during the day. Did you bring your letter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did.
There she is, like a proud parent sending a kid off to school. Who was that to, by the way?
Santa Claus.
Oh, what'd you ask for?
Single barrel, cask strength, George Remus bourbon.
Wow. Well, you better be a good boy.
You and that damn mailbox.
It is really cool that everything is so close around here.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago really is a walking city. Well, until you get to February, and then everything sucks outside.
Yeah, but take a look at the map. You can see how close these places really were.
I mean, it's almost like it's right there on the map when you look. Well, we're at 171. We're kind of a little bit at the mercy of progress, but the area, and clearly he shows good real estate.
Right.
So.
I mean, just look around. You've got the Thompson Center, where all of Illinois politicking gets done. The governor's office is in there. The mayor's office right across the street there.
City Hall, the county building. We just walked through Daily Plaza over there. Federal Plaza not far away. So, I mean, this is, kind of the heart of everything that he would have been looking for back then. So.
Right. Once again, like you said, progress has been made. His building no longer exists, but this area is the place to be. And it was just a 3-minute walk from the CAA.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's probably, we think of it, we went to his boyhood home. He's actually got a hotel room down here, basically on retainer. His office is right here. His nightlife is right over there. He's going to his place, once a month at tops?
Yeah, probably. But more importantly, this is where he's going to do all the studying, the late nights, reading up on all the laws, where he's going to start coming up with his wild, crazy, theatric defenses of these really interesting characters, where he drinks the poison, where he comes up with temporary insanity, and that courthouse, that building, still exists. Should we go walk over there?
I'd love to. And
Absolutely.
the real one.
The real courthouse is still there, where he did all of that stuff.
Okay.
Look at this one, huh? Gorgeous.
Finally, 54 West Hubbard, the original. I mean, I tend to think of Chicago as an old city, and think about how much has changed just in my lifetime, really.
Right, exactly. What it must have looked like back then. Well, it's hopeless for the occasional visitor to try and keep up with Chicago. She outgrows her prophecies faster than she can make them. Chicago's a novelty. She's never the Chicago that you saw when you passed through the last time.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It is, and Mark Twain said it, and he died in 1910, so imagine what it must have looked like back then.
So this isn't just a courthouse, right? It's the size of a city block here.
Right, it's
it
multiple
courthouses.
Right. Yeah.
In the back, there's a jail. There's actually a hanging gallows. So you could be tried in the afternoon and then hung in the evening. So the importance of the trials inside here were a little bit more than they are today.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And this is where Remus is going to take everything he's been working on back at the office and put it into practice. So all those theatrics, right, and the showmanship. So he's kind of, he's the latter day Johnny Cochran, right? So,
yeah,
and we all know Johnny Cochran, the O.J. Simpson
yeah.
trial. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Right.
So he's kind of treated like a punchline, right? He shouldn't be. What Johnny Cochran and George Remus had in common is that they mastered their knowledge of the law. The showmanship is what gets them over the hump, but they know what they're talking about. They know the specific laws and what they have to work on. And then playing to the jury's
Bring that
sympathies,
in
that's
along with it.
exactly right. That's extra. And because they can be, as you put it, hung that same night, he knows the importance, and so he's really got to show that. And it's also here where he changes American defense law as we know it. You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the William Ellis case.
I am talking about the William Ellis case, yes. So the William Ellis case, as you know, is a murder-suicide pact, right? Where this married couple supposedly came up with a thing where they're going to kill themselves together. And when the cops show up, they find her, who's been shot multiple times in different locations where it would have been impossible. Right. And then this guy shot in like the leg, and he like gives himself a superficial knife wound, and somehow that didn't work. It's pretty obvious that this dude murdered his wife. Well, what Remus establishes in the trial is that this guy's wife has been cheating on, or at least he claims she's been cheating on him for years and years and years. And so what Remus says is that the wear of this, the shame and all of that, forces this guy into a place where he's not thinking clearly, right? Temporary insanity. Today we call it a crime of passion. Now, he's not trying to get him well, actually, Remus is trying to get him completely acquitted. Yeah. But what ends up happening is this becomes a way for people to basically catch a lower sentence.
Less than that.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of murder 1, you're getting manslaughter or whatever. Still works today. Law students learn about it today. I love when we do tours and someone's on the tour. We've had groups of law students and they say like, oh my God, we've learned about that. That's this guy, right, when we're talking about him. So it's really, really, really cool that he was able to affect American law in this really impactful way. But what you're also seeing is this insane level of showmanship from everybody. Everybody's trying to match everybody
Prosecutor
else.
too?
The prosecutor is putting on this big show. He's pulling the trigger on the revolver that the guy used 3 times. The defendant is fainting when the gun comes out. I mean, it's this whole just complete shit show of a court. I mean, pay-per-view.
It sounds like it would make great TV.
Oh, reality TV,
yeah.
Absolutely, right? And this is gonna run afoul of a lot of people, all right? People that are trying to actually respect the law hate this, especially a guy by the name of Kennesaw Mountain Landis. That name sound familiar to you?
Did that take place in this building, right?
Absolutely.
The 1919 Black Sox scandal.
Right here, my friend.
I mean, lifetime ban on 8 players? How do you put a lifetime ban on Shoeless Joe Jackson? He was the MVP of the series.
I don't know, man. I'm a Cubs fan.
Fuck you.
Yeah, this guy sucks, okay? In America, we have the idea of innocent until proven guilty. This guy's not about that. This guy's get him in, get him out, get him hung, whatever, all right? He thinks he's upholding justice, but what he's really doing is trying to convict as many people as he possibly can because he thinks that's what justice is, right? And this is going to be what leads him to assess ridiculous fines on bootleggers. Okay. So a regular fine, slap on the wrist, a few hundred, maybe $1,000, whatever. He's doing $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 fines.
Jeez.
But what's happening is these bootleggers are just pulling wads of cash out of their pocket, walking right up to the bench and peeling off $1,000 bills until like, are we done now, right? And what Remus sees is that green, and it starts to get the wheels spinning. He starts to realize, like, oh my God, these guys are morons. They're all morons. I'm a genius. What am I going to be able to do with my knowledge of the law and my knowledge of pharmaceuticals, right? And so he starts to pore over the Volstead Act, trying to figure out the best way that he can make as much money as he possibly can. And that's where it all gets started, is right. Battling inside this courtroom, especially with a guy like Landis.
Inspiration for becoming a bootlegger literally takes place inside of this building right
Absolutely.
Here in Chicago.
Yep,
Wow.
100%. Yeah.
Well, I'm hungry. Can we go get some lunch?
Yeah,
One of our partners, Harry Caray, is just right around the corner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you want to do a little bit of a liquid lunch?
That'll work.
Well, he said meet him on the second floor. I guess we'll just have a drink and wait.
Hey, it came! Holy cow!
Jesus! What came?
Single barrel.
Okay. How did you get in there? Where are you?
I'm in the Speakeasy. Come on, go to the bookshelf.
Okay.
So we don't all have that magic mailbox that we can go ahead and send a letter to Santa in. So what you could do is you can go online and sign up to get in the King's Circle. You'll find out when new releases like this single barrel cask strength George Remus bourbon comes out, and then you can track it down at the closest liquor store. Enjoy. Come on in.
Wow. Well, this is cool.
Hey man, sorry I scared you there.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, welcome to Nitty Speakeasy.
Yeah,
What do you
it's nice
think?
It's nice in here, yeah.
You know it's named after Frank Nitti.
Yeah, the enforcer, Capone's number 2. I think, in fact, I know he had an apartment here and an office, so
Yeah.
a couple of reasons for that. A, it connected to a series of tunnels underneath, which is super convenient for transporting liquor, but also we can overlook the courthouse, which we were just at to see
The
if
very
anybody's
courthouse
coming
we
or
were
going.
just
Right,
at.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as someone like Nitti, I mean, he almost certainly worked with George Remus, yes?
Absolutely. Probably one of his best customers.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we always knew that there was definitely a connection between Remus and the outfit, but I always forget that he actually sued the outfit,
That's so Remus. Sue the Chicago outfit.
right? The ball's on that guy.
What would lead somebody like Remus to there he is at the courthouse.
Yeah.
What leads him to drop his law practice and become a bootlegger? Leave law to break the law?
Well, I mean,
sort of.
I think we've been building to this point the entire time, right? We've talked about his need for notoriety, his need for bigger and better. At this point, it's almost certainly just kind of greed. We talked about seeing these bootleggers just peeling off $1,000 bills and paying exorbitant fines right on the spot. So, he just has this idea. I mean, we've established that he thinks very highly of himself, right? In almost every way. So he kind of just thinks, well, if they can make this much money, how much money can he make? And so he moves to Cincinnati, which
Seems like an odd place.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
you're in Chicago, Prohibition. You think of
Yeah, you
places
think
like
Al
New
Capone,
York, Chicago,
Nitti,
yeah.
whoever, absolutely. So, well, and I'm sure they had their own, in fact, we know they had their own gangsters and tunnels and systems, and at the time, also, Cincinnati was kind of competing with Chicago in terms of popularity. I mean, it's crazy to think about now, because Chicago is so much of a bigger city than Cincinnati, but they were much closer to each other back then. But most importantly, Cincinnati, if you make it your hub, sits in a 300-mile radius, or within the epicenter of a 300-mile radius of 80% of the bonded liquor in America.
Okay.
So, because here's the thing, right, is people think of Prohibition, and then they think that all booze just goes away. It's just immediately illegal, and no one has it anymore. Well, it couldn't be further from the truth, right? So you can get it for several different reasons, religious reasons. You can get it
Pharmacy.
for, well, that's
Yeah.
it. It's exactly right. It's for medicinal purposes. And so Remus, going back to what we talked about at the courthouse, he's got the pharmaceutical knowledge. He's got the law knowledge. And so he uses these two things in conjunction with each other to create that circle. He's getting permits needed to pull out the alcohol, and then having it shipped to his places, having his own guys hijack those shipments, and so they're not showing up to where they're supposed to be, or sends it out to an address that doesn't exist, so now he can legally take the alcohol back. There's all these different ways that he very creatively comes up with to get booze out onto the street.
It's just he's creating opportunities here. I'm thinking about him being he worked so hard to become such a big name in Chicago.
Right.
But really in real estate, it's all about location, right? And that's why he relocates to Cincinnati, because he knows, even though he's building himself up here, he knows once he goes there, he can become that huge fish in the pond and
Right.
have access to all that
Exactly
alcohol and just, blanket, not just Chicago, but blanket America with his product.
Well, and at one point he has his operation, I think, is covering 7 to 8 states, mostly here in the Midwest, but he does get that organization up and going, and it is gigantic, because one of the other things, too, is he has no moral qualms about this at all. He, in fact, is very much against, he doesn't drink himself, but he's very much against Prohibition. He views it as an unnecessary and overreaching law. And he's already defending people that he knows to be guilty, right? I mean, he drank the poison knowing it was poison. Knowing that dude, no shit, poisoned his wife.
He also defended a guy that shot his wife in the chest 4 times and said she did it.
Yeah, exactly right. So he doesn't really have a problem working with a nefarious character. He already thinks that the law is kind of morally bankrupt. So why not make as much money off of it as he possibly can? And the crazy thing is he's trying to find these sort of quasi-legal avenues to do it. I mean, yeah, he's breaking the law left and right. He's, having his own permits printed. He's running them under pseudonyms and things like that. But all of this comes together to create that huge, almost what we would consider today like a Fortune 500 corporation, and he's the head of it.
Right. Can you pass me those chips, by the way?
Yeah, they're pretty good, right? Apparently you can get them online. You can get them covered in chocolate.
Covered in chocolate?
Covered in chocolate.
Okay.
So did you buy those online or did you just steal those?
No, I stole those from the bar.
Join us in a couple of weeks back here in Chicago for yet another episode of Cocktails with the King. Until then, I'm Jonathan Notek. This is
Cocktails with the King.
also Jonathan Porter. He didn't think to say his own name, but that's who that is, and we'll see you next time.